Hey guys, hope you are all well. We are extremely very happy to announce that today we have Mr. Sandeep Jain, founder of Geeks for Geeks, IIT Roorkee alumnus and TEDx speaker. He loves to solving programming problems in most efficient ways apart from Geeks for Geeks. He has worked with D. Shaw and Company as a software developer and JIIT Noida assistant professor. Geeks4Geeks.org was created with a goal in mind to provide well written, well thought, and well explained solutions for selected questions. The content on Geeks for Geeks has been divided into various categories to make it easily accessible for the users. As the saying goes, practice makes a man perfect, but for programmers, there is no truer set of words. Geeks for Geeks realizes the importance of programming practice in climbing the stairs of success. In the fold of computer science, because of all these features, Geeks for Geeks has established itself more than just a programming portal, it has become a heaven for geeks. The all in one site for tech lovers and a perfect place for coders to interact and discuss their ideas and knowledge. I am a big fan of Geeks for Geeks site and I bet you will also as soon as visit. So, Dr. Sandeep Jain is here now.
Hello, hello. What happened to audio? Is it fine? No, why I have and what is the question? Why it is not audible for me? Hello.
Yeah, Harsh, I can hear you now.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for joining. We are extremely happy to have you this evening.
Hi. Same here. I am also really happy to interact with you guys. I always enjoy interaction with the students.
Yeah, it's great. Sir, before I begin, I would like to ask how are you and how is your quarantine going on?
I'm good. Quarantine is really going good. I'm using it productively. I'm working on Geeks for Geeks even in this quarantine period. Although I used to record videos for courses, but that kind of work has stopped. But otherwise, everything else is going on.
Oh, it's great to listen. Sir, I think it will be little injustice if we have you and didn't ask about the origin and the idea behind Geeks for.
Hi, thanks, Harsh, for asking this question. I did my engineering from a tier 3 college, and in our college, there was no on campus placement. And in fact, we did not have any idea where to apply off campus and what are the processes followed by these companies. Then I went to IIT Roorkee for MTech. And in IIT Roorkee, even if the placement was more than 100%, our companies were visiting our campus. We did not know what are the processes followed by these companies. How are they going to hire us? How many students they generally hire? How many what kind of questions they are going to ask? So gap between academic and employability and the software jobs. So the whole idea of Geeks for Geeks was to fill that gap. Back in 2007, when I did
How we can begin in competitive coding?
if you are in first year and second year, I mean, we should then please try lower level questions on every contest site. In fact, on practice.geeksforgeeks.org, we have questions which are according to levels. Like there are school level questions, basic level questions, easy, medium, and then hard. So you can pick a level and solve the questions of that level. If you are facing difficulty with that level, then go to a lower level and solve the questions of that level. And not only solving the questions, keep learning data structures and algorithms also regularly. And there is this recommendation which I would also recommend. All of the people generally who are good coders, they recommend that never look at the solution written by somebody else. Never look at the code at, I mean, to be more precise, when you are solving a problem, just try it yourself. If you are not getting a solution, then probably look at the algorithm, the worst case, and then implement it yourself. And once you have submitted and implemented, then look at the solution written by some expert. That way you learn what mistakes you make, and how you write the longer code and those people write shorter and clean code.
Sir, what do you think? How important role college name play during off-campus placements?
Ideally, it should not be playing the role, and it actually does, but the effect is going down with time. If you compare with our times and these days times, things are changing and things are changing for better. But it still does matter a lot when you are a fresher. But once you have joined a company and you have worked there for some time, it's all your work that shows up and that uh, participates in your progress, or maybe whatever you learn, that always helps. I mean, college name goes down after some time. It matters when you are a fresher only.
Sir, what would you say that for an upcoming engineer that they must learn? These are the most means most are the subjects they should learn in the college life.
So the topmost priority thing is data structures and algorithm. You should learn data structures and algorithm really, really well. And most of the companies, whether it is online round, it's always BI. And even after in face-to-face rounds, most of the questions that they ask are data structure algorithm. Apart from data structure algorithm and coding, you may focus on some subjects like DBMS. DBMS is something which is used a lot in companies. Apart from DBMS, you can focus on operating system. You can learn some operating system and computer networks. And apart from these skills, they sometimes ask design questions as well. And if you talk about other things, you can follow whatever you enjoy. You can follow machine learning or Android development or any full stack development, whatever you enjoy. Sorry guys, actually I've disconnected other devices from Wi-Fi, and hopefully they would
No
not face any
problem,
issue
no
with
problem.
my side. Okay, so the question was, what are the skills that students should learn when they are in engineering college?
Hmm.
To answer this question, they need to learn data structures and algorithms really well. These are the things that most of the companies ask. In fact, all the companies, they have this first online round where the questions are generally based on data structures and algorithms only. And once you qualify this online round, even in their face-to-face rounds, they ask mostly data structures and algorithms. Apart from these top data structure algorithm and programming, they sometimes ask questions on data DBMS, because DBMS is something which is used in companies. Almost every company has a database. Indexing in databases and normal forms, all these things are generally asked. And after DBMS, they sometimes ask operating system as well. And DBMS, operating system, and then sometimes they ask computer networks also. And I think these are the most asked topics in computer science theory. And apart from these three topics, they sometimes ask design questions as well. How would you design a lift? And uh, with these, it would be good if you have some good projects and if you have worked on some open source projects. And then there is no limit actually. Whatever you have written in your resume, if you've done some certification or support some machine learning, that adds value obviously.
Sir, we have seen Geeks for Geeks is really a great platform for all of the student, not only for the student but also for the teacher resource platform. So, sir, I want to know what is the current means the means how many students are accessing it daily, or what is it means how many users are visiting the website daily?
So I don't know the exact numbers as of now, but you can guess from the Alexa rank. We are, I think today, as of today, we are ranked around 50 in India. So we see a lot of traffic, and it's not only single Geeks for Niche platform. We have, and apart from this domain, the second most traffic receiving domain is practice.geeksforgeeks.org, and then the compiler.
Great, sir. Sir, as I know that you are already in the entrepreneurship world, so sir, I would like to ask you, sir, what are the key points that if anybody wants to become an entrepreneur in future, so or anybody wants to begin with it, so what are the key factors play a vital role in it?
Uh, Key factors in entrepreneurship. See, when you are beginning, you should come up with an idea which is going to help people. In general, whatever we start as a new idea, it should be helping people. Other things like money and more people, they automatically come as long as you're helping people. Your initial product can be very small. It might be helping only 15, 20 people. Build it for those people, get their feedback seriously, take their feedback seriously, and then add those features. My suggestion is don't plan too much big initially. Don't have a big project like I'll make a search engine or make something really big. So make something really small. Try to make it usable by somebody. Make an end-to-end product so that people can use it, and build something which is helpful and at the same time which you enjoy. For example, when if I talk about Geeks for Geeks, I saw a problem in tier 3, tier 2 and tier 1 colleges, and I had passion for teaching, so I thought my passion can help bridging this gap. So this is my example, and this can be fit with anybody. If you see a problem around you, a problem where you are part of, that problem you can solve actually even a better way.
Sir, what would you like to comment on the importance of committed and dedicated team for any startup?
That plays a big role. If you talk about Geeks for Geeks, we have really great team. There are really great people working in Geeks for Geeks, and these are the guys who make
Sir, as you have already told, sir, but could you please tell me, sir, something about entrepreneurship? What are the sir, early things that everyone means must do before getting into this entrepreneurship world?
See, when you are beginning with entrepreneurship, initial problems are, money and capital and resources. So when you are beginning, have some people who can help you. If you are in college, you have plenty of resources, and best thing to have people with complementary skills. If you are a good coder, then or a tech person, have a person in your team who is a non-tech person, who is probably a management person or somebody who can deal really well. And where whatever stage you are in entrepreneurship, communication, proper communication, regular communication within the team plays a major role. Whatever stage, whether you are in a early stage or you reach some stage, communication plays a super important role.
Sir, what do you think? What is the best time in one's life to enter into this entrepreneurship world?
You can begin anytime. There are people who started
Anytime.
when they were kids, right? So you can, I mean, and to be very frank, it's like a long journey. It doesn't happen this way that today I started an idea and it's going to be a company in a year. I mean, generally it takes a long time. It takes 4 or 5 years at least to make something visible to the people. So early you begin, better for you. That's my suggestion, because if you start after 2 years, if you have some idea, you start after 2 years, then it's again going to take 2 3 years at least more. And if you get funding, if you have money given by some people, that might accelerate, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time for any company to become slightly bigger company or to have a slightly successful product. It's a long journey.
Sir, as for now, as we are everybody seeing that right now COVID situation is means moving more and more. So, sir, can we comment on this that the future of Indian education will be more? We will more look into the online solutions instead of this. The previously we have never thought in such a way that we can require some online solution or we can study. So, what would you like to comment?
This COVID-19 is totally an unusual situation, and I mean, nobody can guess what is going to happen after this. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, we have it has changed our habits. Many we were wasting lots of resources, like wasting petrol going to the places and all. Most of the and if you talk about specifically education, most of the things are happening without that. I mean, without wasting those many resources. So people have kind of realized that that these things can still work without having personal or face-to-face interaction, or without being people at one place. So it might happen that, but again, things won't change drastically. They take shape with some time. I mean, it's not going to happen that just after COVID-19 that I mean, people will totally shift to online. People have kind of realized, and this COVID-19, and people have been realizing this earlier also, but this COVID-19 can accelerate this shift from this offline to online.
So, what would you comment on this? That if someone, any student is in fourth year and he is not getting a well placed, so he should go for any higher studies, or he should continue with off campus.
See, if you are a good coder, then you should not fear, because there is always requirement of good coders in industry. If you're lacking coding skills, then you can decide whether you want to do higher study, or you want to uh, pursue careers in something else, something other than software development. But good coders are always required in industry. I mean, sorry, you can always focus on your coding skills if you're not placed. And if you've decided that you're not going to the software job, then you can probably do something else or follow something else. But don't panic. I mean, tough times come in everybody's life. I mean, I and they make you strong. I can tell you about myself. When I did BTech in 2004, I did not have any job. I was even looking for BPO jobs, was being rejected in those jobs. So that happens. I mean, and they make you strong. They make you learn more, and then in life, these small troubles don't trouble you, right, once you've gone through that time. So not getting placed is also an opportunity to strengthen yourself, and to work hard and come out better out of the situation.
Sir, as I have read and you already has mentioned that you worked once as a teacher in JIIT. So, sir, I would love to know the experience of that teaching time when you were working as a professor.
That was really a great time. I would have never left that job. I mean, 5.5 years is a long time. I worked there for 5.5 years, which is a long time for anybody to stay in a company. I really enjoyed those 5.5 years, and really, I always enjoy interaction with these students. That's why I go to many colleges, do these sessions, and I would have never left. The reason for leaving this teaching job, it's not only interacting with the students or teaching them. There are many other things that you will have to do, like checking answer sheets, evaluating grades, and attendance entry, and there are many other things that you do. And sometimes there are students who are there because their parents send them, and you're there in the class. They don't want to attend your class, even if you're teaching programming really well. So I preferred the online way of Geeks for Geeks, and Geeks for Geeks was really getting popular. So doing the other activities like checking answer sheets and other stuff was not justified with Geeks for Geeks. That's why I had to left. And if I was not doing Geeks for Geeks, I would be doing teaching job somewhere for sure.
Sir, what would you say how it is different from when you are working in as a working for software company?
A software company culture is slightly different. I mean, I personally don't like the software company culture, that especially when you have a big MNC, you are part of that setup, and you're just your role is very small. I mean, you're doing something which is part of a big setup. You're told some requirements, you're just implementing them. So I really enjoyed the teaching job in particular, and I enjoy the Geeks for Geeks setup as well. We have a small company where we do regular interactions, and it's not like I mean, the thing that somebody just told like this is to be done. People decide like what they want to do in Geeks for Geeks, and most of